Hello, I'm Nostradamus. Welcome to Phone Age News. Well, we're probably in the shit now. Anyone that doesn't realise this by now, probably either a hermit living in a cave, or they've got an IQ of a sprout. People need to stop watching these unreality TV shows and pussycat videos on YouTube. Start waking up to the proper reality of what's going on in the world. I'm going to start off tonight. It's looking at the sea ice, northern sea ice, that is. Sea ice extents. Oh, still at the tail end of winter, and it looks like it's already reached its peak. Here's a look at the sea ice volume, tracking at historical lows. It's all mush. All the blue's mush. This area here, this is normally solid thick ice now at this time of year. Just mush. Just got a bit peckish, so I just decided to have a bowl of cereal and shreddies. Went to the kitchen, got my box of shreddies, put some out in the bowl, and so I bought the shreddies from the convenience store, which they come from the factory, which came from the wheat and barley in the fields. And I poured over me fresh cold milk, which I'd taken out the fridge, powered by electricity. The milk comes from the cows, which have to be looked after. Well, any break in any of them chains, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy my bowl of cereal. In my last video, I reported a large spike in methane concentrations, and on the NOAA site, the higher concentrations, the pink bits, look like it's coming from the North Pacific, North Atlantic, and round the Kamchatka Peninsula. In particular, this is the latest reading from today. The numbers are all over the place. The day after I took the readings from my last video, they'd gone up even a little bit more, and then when I checked a few days later, they dropped right back down again. And now the latest numbers showing it back up again. So I'll carry on taking the numbers, and we'll see how it pans out over the next couple of weeks. This is how far back I can go on cams. Last Monday the 24th, halfway up in the atmosphere, 500 millibars or hectopascals or whatever it is. And as you can see, there's a large volume of methane over the Kamchatka Peninsula, which ties in with what I saw on the NOAA site last week. So I was thinking, as what's responsible for the large increase in methane levels, and has there been an outburst from any volcanic activity? So we're on the world map of active volcanoes. This is the area we're interested in. And it's Shivaloosh. Come on. Right, that's what I want. More information about Shivaloosh. Well, the latest news from Shivaloosh volcano. Activity update. Lava dome elevation at 2,500 meters still remains very active. What I found interesting in the report, I've only looked at this because the suggestion of strong methane in the area, and Cavert reported strong fumarolic activity with small amounts of ash and an incandescence of the dome blocks and hot avalanches associated with this process. So fumarolic means there's high emissions of gases, a lot of strong fumes. It's been blowing off to 40,000 feet at least. Previous news from back in January, strong fumarolic activity. So this volcano has been blowing out loads of gas, which might explain the strong spike in methane I observed last week. Just enjoying a lovely cup of coffee. The coffee beans themselves are probably picked by some child slaves in some faraway country that nobody gives a thought or damn about. Oh well, the way the world is. It was nice though. Right, let's take a look at that. Naughty COVID-19's up to on the Worldometer's info cases: 84,611, 2,923 deaths, 39,448 recovered. We have 42,240 cases at the moment, currently infected patients, and 19% of those are serious or critical condition. Closed cases, people that have had the virus, what happened to them? Now they've not got the virus anymore. 93% have recovered, 7% have died. I looked at this 2 hours ago, that was 9%. Oh, that's a big change. 2% in a couple of hours. Total cases, total deaths, Nice graphs. Hmm. Who knows what's going on with this latest figures? Estimates of the transmission rate. Every person infected will go on to infect between 2 and 3 more people, unless they're a super spreader. Fatality rate 2%? Question mark. Well, that's just been downgraded from 7. And that's with healthcare in place. If this explodes anywhere and the healthcare's not there, fatality rate's going to be between 10 and 20%. Incubation period. They still don't know what it is. They're still estimating it. They still say it's 2 to 14 days and they quarantine them for 14 days and then show no symptoms, you're free to go. There's been a couple of people, it's been 20 odd days, up to 27 days. 60 countries affected now. Right. Metro. News, but not as you know it. Coronavirus has an HIV-like mutation which helps it to attack human cells, scientists claim. It's a very recent article. The coronavirus has an HIV-like mutation which helps it to bind with human cells at a terrifyingly effective rate, Chinese scientists have claimed. The new study from Nankai University alleged that COVID-19's ability to infect cells is up to 1,000 times more powerful than SARS, a coronavirus which caused 774 deaths in 17 countries between November 2002 and July 2003. The new coronavirus aims for an enzyme called furin, the same enzyme attacked by HIV and Ebola. Professor Ruan Jishu and his team at Nankai University found genes in COVID-19 which did not exist in SARS but can be found in both of the viruses responsible for spreading HIV and Ebola. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, and he says everything's fine. There'll be 0 cases by next week. And the economy's doing great. What a fantastic economy we've got. 1,000 points drop every day this week. This bubble's just about to burst. Here's what you will need to survive a 14-day coronavirus home quarantine. Food and water, and stay away with people that's got, has got it. Or stay away from everybody. In fact, Italy begs Europe for help. Ew. Whilst I was searching for the most recent information on the virus, I came across this PDF. It looks like a report in investigations from some Indian scientists. I thought before I put it in my video, I'll check out the authenticity, and it's from Bio 14, whatever. I think that's Roman numerals. So, and so when I Google that, I got strong links to the Cold Spring Harbour Laboratory, founded in 1890. Home to 8 Nobel Prize winners, non-for-profit laboratory, employs 1,100 people, 600 scientists. So it seems legit. So let's go back to the PDF report. It's 14 pages of this. We are currently witnessing a major epidemic caused by the 2019 novel coronavirus. The evolution of 2019 nCoV remains elusive. We found 4 insertions in the spike glycoprotein, which are unique to the 2019 coronavirus and are not present in other coronaviruses. Importantly, amino acid residues in all the 4 inserts have identity or similarity to those in the HIV gag. Interestingly, despite the inserts being discontinuous on the primary amino acid sequence, 3D modelling of the 2019 coronavirus suggests that they converge to constitute the receptor binding site. Anyway, if you're scientifically minded, I'll leave the link to this below. And it's very, very detailed scientific study of the virus. Genetic sequencing. It's like they've done a good job on it. It's amazing, isn't it, what they can do? Or what somebody's already done. Fantastic. Where is it? Was it wanted to show you? I thought it was at the bottom. It's not. Go back up a bit. Insertions in spike protein region of 2019 nCoV. Since the S protein of 2019 nCoV shares closest ancestry with SARS GZO2, the sequence coding for spike proteins of these 2 viruses were compared using multi-allele software. We found 4 new insertions in the protein. There they are. To our surprise, these sequence insertions were not only absent in S protein of SARS, but were also not observed in any other member of the Coronavidae family. This is startling, as it is quite unlikely for a virus to have acquired such unique insertions naturally in a short duration of time. Taken together, our findings suggest unconventional evolution of 2019 nCoV that warrants further investigation. So what they're suggesting there is it's unlikely that it's naturally occurred. Just last summer, I raised my concern about exactly this sort of scenario where a rogue state would develop and release some sort of virus into the world. A fellow doomer, who I won't say his name, but if he's watching, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about China. I think it's been put in China to make it look as though China's done it, even though they are after world domination. And it's beginning to look that everything I thought might happen is happening. I'll leave you to ponder which state may be responsible for this. But needless to say, they've only had 2 reported cases so far. And the rest of the population's probably already been inoculated. Meanwhile, our lovely caring governments have been giving us hope, saying it's all under control and it's no worse than the flu, and just like the flu, once it warms up again, once we get a couple of months' time and get into summer, it'll die down and it might just come back as a seasonal disease, like seasonal flu is now, just be another one to add. Get your inoculations every year, nothing to worry about. So I had to think about that. If weather is a factor versus the coronavirus, here's why and when we can expect to see results. By Dr. Joel N. Myers, AccuWeather founder and CEO from yesterday. The spread of the coronavirus and its ultimate impact on the US, its economy and citizens' health may depend on the weather. We should begin to see if the weather has a role and how big that role is over the next month or two. Past viruses, as the charts below indicate, have been negatively impacted to the benefit of humanity by the intensity and amount of hours of sunshine, as well as by heat and humidity, which tend to go hand in hand. And this is a graph of the SARS outbreak, how it shot up during spring, and as the hot weather came, it virtually disappeared. Combating the lethal coronavirus and finding a vaccine that will inoculate people against the spread, or discovering treatments that will allow people to survive its effects, will take time. That's where the weather comes into play. Yay, so this fucking boiling hot summer we're about to have will wipe out coronavirus. If the coronavirus behaves like most other viruses, then as the sun grows stronger day by day as we head towards the March equinox, the stronger sun and increased hours of sunshine will start to take their toll on the virus. Yeah, whatever. If this virus behaves like others, so if, and peaks somewhere in the next 60 days, that will give us time to work on vaccines and treatments, because it will not likely return until next October and November. On the other hand, if this virus is different from all the others, and the sunlight, heat and humidity are not its natural enemy, then the threat to the health and welfare of humanity, as well as the negative impact on the economy has the potential to be severe. I would estimate that chance to be less than 5% and perhaps minuscule. But until we see how the virus reacts to sunlight, heat and humidity increases over the next few months, we will not know for sure. So then I got to thinking about, well, if that's right and it's going to die back as we head towards summer, and then expecting cases to go down, I'll take a closer look at one of the hot spots. In Qom, Iran. What's the weather been like in Qom in the last 2 weeks? Let's have a look. Past weather in Qom. So this is showing the recent weather they've been having in Qom, in the where the hotspot is in Iran. And you can see it's been quite summery. Highs of 22 degrees, getting down to lows of about 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool down a bit. Decent days. This nice spring-like weather, even summery weather, doesn't seem to have impacted on the virus whatsoever. So bang goes that theory. The UK government said they've got plans in place just in case this epidemic goes berserk. So let's have a closer look at some of those plans, shall we? Government in talks over excess death plans as 2 more coronavirus cases confirmed in England. Officials insist plans including identifying burial sites are for worst case scenario only. Oh dear. The government is reportedly contacting local councils for what is known as excess death contingency planning in the event of a worst case scenario relating to the spread of coronavirus. The planning, which is thought to include discussions with local authorities about potential new large burial sites, is thought to be standard practice when an outbreak of such a virus is taking place. The talks come as the Department of Health confirms there are 2 new cases in England, with another positive patient now transferred to the Royal Liverpool Hospital Specialist Infection Facility. Well, I'm glad he's staying positive. News of the discussions were revealed on Twitter last night by Newsnight policy editor Lewis Goodall, who tweeted, "I understand the Cabinet Office has been in communication with local authorities about excess death contingency planning, effectively their mass death preparedness plans in the event of coronavirus being at upper end of worst case scenario." Oh dear me. And there's his tweet. Mass death preparedness. Cabinet Office spokesperson keen to stress that such preparations were not uncommon, telling Newsnight, "We have been clear from the outset that we expect coronavirus to have some impact on the UK, which is why we are planning for every eventuality, including the reasonable worst case scenario. Crucially, This does not mean we expect it to happen, but they're prepared for it. Completely normal practice in such scenarios. No conspiracy here. It's simply the case of the state doing what it should, preparing for anything. It does not mean there is a risk. But that's all. That's it for now. I'll be back soon. Once if I uncover any more dirt on this virus, or I'll do a proper methane report once it settles down, and I'm planning on doing climate weather update, worldwide climate weather update, as we move into spring. So I'll be back soon, health and internet allowing. Thank you all for watching. Be safe. Look after each other. Bye.